some fashion trends do more harm than good. You might think they look cool, but in reality, they're making you look worse. From awkward fits to outdated styles, these trends can ruin your whole look without you even realizing it. Let's go over the worst fashion mistakes you should avoid. Let's start with bell-bottom jeans. Bell-bottom jeans had their peak in the 70s, but bringing them back into modern fashion hasn't exactly worked out. The exaggerated flare at the bottom completely throws off the proportions of an outfit, making legs look shorter and the silhouette awkward. Instead of a sleek or structured look, they create a bottom-heavy effect that can appear clumsy and outdated. One of the biggest problems with bell-bottoms is that they're hard to style. They don't pair well with most modern shoes, often covering them completely or creating an unbalanced look. Plus, the wide leg opening makes movement feel a bit awkward, especially when the fabric drags on the ground. While some people try to bring them back with a retro revival approach, the reality is that bell-bottoms just don't fit well in today's fashion scene. Wearing them doesn't make you look trendy, it just makes you look stuck in the 70s. The trend has been replaced by more balanced and versatile cuts like straight leg and tapered jeans, which work better with a variety of outfits and body types. Bell-bottom jeans might be fun for a 70s themed party, but as an everyday fashion choice, they just don't hold up. Next up, shutter shades. These glasses were never really about style, they were more of a gimmick. Popularized in the 2000s, especially by Kanye West, shutter shades were everywhere for a while. But let's be honest, they were never practical. Instead of actually protecting your eyes from the sun, they just made it harder to see. The design itself is the biggest problem. The horizontal plastic bars completely block your vision, making you look like you're wearing a cheap party prop rather than actual eyewear. Plus, they don't complement anyone's face shape. Instead of adding to your look, they just make you look like you're stuck in the cringiest era of early 2000s fashion. While they might work as a joke or a costume piece, shutter shades have no place in modern fashion. If you want stylish sunglasses, go for something timeless like aviators, wayfarers, or even a sleek pair of rimless frames. Next up, Crocs. Crocs are one of the most controversial fashion trends ever. Some people swear by their comfort, but let's be real, comfort doesn't always mean stylish. These bulky rubbery clogs were originally made for practicality, not fashion. Yet somehow, they made their way into everyday outfits, and that's where things went wrong. The problem with Crocs is their shape. They make feet look oversized and awkward, completely ruining the proportions of an outfit. Instead of looking stylish or put together, they make you look like you just stepped out of a hospital or a kid's play area. Yes, they're easy to slip on and comfortable, but that doesn't mean they're meant to be worn out in public. If you're looking for casual footwear that doesn't destroy your style, go for sleek sneakers, loafers, or even slides. Next up, grills. Grills, the shiny dental accessories that cover your teeth, were once popularized by rappers and celebrities, but they've never really caught on as a mainstream fashion trend. Sure, they're flashy, but they can make your smile look more like a costume than a style statement. The problem with grills is that they can completely distract from your natural features. Instead of adding to your look, they take the focus away from your face, giving off a look-at-me vibe that feels forced and unnatural. They can also make you look a bit over the top, like you're trying too hard to stand out. If you want to show off your personal style, there are better ways to do it. Focus on clothes and accessories that enhance your natural look, not something that makes your smile look like it belongs on a rapper's music video. Next up, rat tail. The rat tail hairstyle was a short-lived trend, but it definitely left a mark on fashion history. It's essentially a small section of hair at the nape of your neck that's left longer than the rest of your hair, creating a tail-like effect. It's a look that's hard to pull off and even harder to explain. The problem with rat tails is that they just don't look good on most people. It looks really bad on both men and women, and it can make your hair look unkempt or poorly styled, as if you couldn't decide between a full-on mullet or a regular haircut. Instead of giving you a unique, stylish edge, rat tails make you look like you're stuck in a bad 90s or early 2000s phase. It's one of the worst hairstyles that just doesn't hold up. If you want a bold hairstyle, go for something cleaner and more polished. There are plenty of edgy cuts out there that don't involve a questionable tail hanging off the back of your head. Next up, longline clothes. Longline clothing was a trend that started in streetwear, but quickly became a fashion disaster for many. These oversized shirts and jackets that go well below the waist might have seemed cool in theory, but in reality, they can swallow up your frame. The long baggy cut makes you look shapeless and can create an unbalanced, awkward silhouette. The problem with longline clothes is that they don't really suit most body types. They can make you look shorter or even wider, hiding your natural proportions and drawing attention to the wrong areas. Instead of looking stylish, they often give off the vibe that you're wearing clothes way too big for you. If you're going for a more tailored look, stick to clothes that fit well and flatter your shape. A more structured outfit will always look more polished and put together than drowning in an oversized longline shirt or jacket. Next up, flannel shirts. Flannel shirts were once iconic in the 90s, associated with the grunge movement, and worn by legends like Kurt Cobain. But when they're overdone and used purely as a fashion statement today, they can make you look like you're trying too hard to capture a past era without really pulling it off. The issue with wearing flannel shirts as a fashion statement is that they can quickly become a lazy, unflattering choice. When styled wrong or worn in excess, they just look sloppy and outdated. Instead of evoking a cool, effortless vibe, they can make you look like you're stuck in a grunge time warp. If you want a stylish, timeless piece, opt for shirts or jackets that fit your body better and focus on modern patterns. Flannel can still work if styled intentionally, but it shouldn't be the focal point of your wardrobe. Next up, affliction t-shirts. Affliction t-shirts were a huge fad in the 2000s, known for their bold over-the-top designs. Think excessive logos, skulls, flames, and flashy embroidery. While they were meant to look edgy, they often came across as cheap and tacky. The problem with these shirts is the sheer overload of design. The embellishments can be overwhelming and make the shirt look more like a costume than something you'd wear for a casual day out. The heavy graphic designs distract from your overall look, making you seem like you're trying to showcase everything at once, rather than letting your style speak for itself. If you want to look put together and stylish, go for more minimalistic designs. A simple well-fitting shirt with clean lines will always outshine one that's trying too hard to make a statement. Next up, extreme crop tops for men. Extreme crop tops for men are a trend that just doesn't make sense. While crop tops have been a fashion staple for women, when they're pushed to the extreme on men, they can look awkward and uncomfortable. Personally, I don't like them at all. It just looks too feminine for a man to wear, and it doesn't work at all. The issue is that they leave too much skin exposed and often don't flatter the male body shape. It can end up looking more like a wardrobe malfunction than a style choice, especially when the fit doesn't complement your proportions. Instead of feeling confident, you'll likely draw unwanted attention for all the wrong reasons. If you want to show off your physique, there are better ways to do it. Stick to classic well-fitted clothes that work with your body type. Next up, Ed Hardy shirts, tacky tattoo-inspired designs. Ed Hardy shirts were all the rage in the early 2000s, but looking back, it's safe to say they didn't age well. These shirts, with their loud tattoo-inspired designs, were designed to make a statement. But the truth is, they just look tacky and overdone. The problem with Ed Hardy shirts is the excessive embellishment. Bold tattoos on a t-shirt might have seemed cool at one point, but now they just come off as cringy and outdated. The designs are loud and try too hard to be edgy, which often distracts from your overall look. Instead of wearing something that screams for attention, go for more subtle, timeless designs that let your style speak for itself. Next up, super baggy suits, over-relaxed fit suits, and baggy clothes. Super baggy suits and overly relaxed fit clothing might remind you of the 90s, but they've never been the most flattering look. The problem with these styles is that they hide your shape completely, making you look like you're swimming in your clothes. I was scrolling through Instagram recently and saw a picture of Justin Bieber wearing baggy clothes. Personally, I don't like this baggy, oversized style. If we compare this recent picture with one from 2015, I prefer the 2015 look. He looked great. Baggy clothes in general aren't my thing. They just don't flatter the body and can make you look sloppy. If you want to look polished and put together, aim for clothes that fit your body properly, with just the right amount of space for comfort. Next up, mullet hairstyle. The mullet hairstyle is one of those trends that should have stayed in the past, but it's had a recent comeback. It's infamous for its business in the front, party in the back vibe, but the truth is, it's hard to pull off without looking outdated. This hairstyle tries to blend two totally different styles, and in doing so, it ends up looking awkward and disjointed. It's one of those looks that just doesn't translate well across different face shapes or body types, making it a risky choice. You will not find a professional man or anyone looking to be taken seriously rocking this hairstyle. It might have had its moment in the 80s, but today, even with the comeback, it just looks out of place. It's a style you're better off leaving behind.
The worst hairstyle for a guy?
A mullet, for sure.
Why a mullet?
So every guy that has a mullet, they need a shower. They just look dirty.
I'd say a mullet too. I feel like the fact they have mullets is to cover up for them having a small mullet.
Yeah, mullets.
Every guy that I've met with a mullet has small energy.
Okay, they're just basic white boys that cheat on their girlfriends.
Oh, alright.
Mullets? Because they have no game.
Next up, mega stacked jeans. Mega stacked jeans, with all that extra fabric bunched up around the ankles, are a trend that just doesn't make sense. The goal might be to add some extra flair, but in reality, it just makes you look like your jeans are too big or like you're trying too hard. Instead of looking stylish, they end up giving off the vibe that you're drowning in your clothes. The excess fabric creates an unnecessary bulk at the ankles, which can throw off the balance of your whole outfit. If you want to look sharp and put together, opt for jeans that fit well, without all the extra fabric pulling around your legs. Next up, Excessively large logos. Wearing clothes with massive logos plastered all over them is a fashion mistake that screams I'm trying too hard. It's one thing to show some brand loyalty, but when the logo is oversized and takes over your whole outfit, it just looks tacky. The problem with this trend is that it makes the clothes more about the brand than your personal style. It's like you're letting the logo speak for you instead of focusing on a well-thought-out balanced look. The best outfits often keep logos subtle and let the cut, fit, and overall style do the talking. If you want to look classy, avoid going overboard with brand names. Subtlety is always a better choice. Next up, drop crotch pants. Drop crotch pants, also known as harem pants, are one of those styles that never really seem to catch on in a way that works for everyone. The look is meant to be relaxed and comfortable, but it often ends up looking baggy and unflattering. The dropped crotch creates an awkward silhouette, making your legs appear shorter and your overall shape less defined. It's a trend that's hard to make look polished, and more often than not, it just gives off a sloppy vibe. If comfort is your goal, there are plenty of other options that won't sacrifice style for relaxation. Stay away from harem pants if you want to maintain a sharper look. Next up, overly ripped jeans. Overly ripped jeans were once a trend, but now, they're just a fashion disaster. It's one thing to have a few distressed spots for a bit of edge, but when your jeans are practically falling apart, it just looks careless. Instead of appearing fashionable, overly ripped jeans can make you seem like you've just given up on your wardrobe. The excessive tears and rips take away from the overall look, making the outfit seem incomplete and sloppy. If you want a more polished casual look, go for jeans with a slight distressed effect, but avoid going overboard with the rips. A more subtle approach will always look more intentional and stylish. Next up, super skinny jeans. Super skinny jeans for men have become a trend that many try to pull off, but it's a look that can be hard to master. While they might work for some, for most, they end up looking too tight, uncomfortable, and unflattering. The problem with super skinny jeans is that they can restrict movement and emphasize areas that many would rather keep low-key. It's also easy to go too tight, which just ends up looking unnatural and awkward. Next up, transparent plastic raincoats or plastic jackets. Transparent plastic raincoats and jackets might look cool in theory, but in practice, they just don't hold up. These pieces are often overly shiny, making you look like you're wearing something straight out of a sci-fi movie, rather than a stylish outfit. While they may offer protection from the rain, they don't do much for your overall look. They can make you appear stiff and unnatural, and the see-through material doesn't leave much to the imagination. Plus, they can quickly look dated and cheap. If you want a practical raincoat, opt for something more durable, sleek, and subtle. You'll look much better without sacrificing functionality. Next up, excessive jewelry. When it comes to jewelry, less is often more. Wearing too much jewelry can quickly go from stylish to over the top, making it seem like you're trying too hard. From thick chains to rings on every finger, too much bling can distract from the overall look instead of enhancing it. Excessive jewelry can also make you appear flashy, and it can overpower your outfit. The key to pulling off jewelry is to choose a few standout pieces that complement your style, not overwhelm it. Keep it simple and let the rest of your outfit shine. Next up, big red boots. The big red boots trend became a thing in 2023, but it flopped hard and quickly became one of the worst fashion trends. While they might have been fun and eye-catching at first, they ended up looking ridiculous on most people. These oversized boots look like something out of a cartoon, making your feet appear massive and out of proportion with the rest of your outfit. Instead of making a cool statement, they ended up being a fashion disaster that's hard to take seriously. If you want to make a statement with your footwear, go for something bold but balanced. These big red boots are definitely a trend you're better off leaving in the past. Next up, big chains. Big chains were a major trend in the early 2010s, often seen as a bold way to make a statement. But over time, they've just become tacky and excessive. While a chain can be a cool accessory, wearing one that's oversized or too flashy makes it hard to pull off without looking like you're trying too hard. Big chains often steal the spotlight from the rest of your outfit, making it feel more like a costume than a thoughtful look. If you want to wear chains, go for something more subtle and sleek to avoid looking like you just raided a jewelry store. Next up, bleached brows. Bleaching your eyebrows was a trend that hit the fashion scene a few years ago, but it's one that should have stayed in the past. While it works for some high-fashion looks or runway styles, for everyday wear, it just doesn't do your face any justice. Bleached brows can make your face look washed out, and it's hard to pull off without it looking unnatural or too harsh. The contrast between your hair color and brows becomes too much, creating a look that's more jarring than flattering. If you want to freshen up your look, try shaping your brows or going for a softer, more natural look instead of bleaching them out completely. Next up, thin eyebrows. Thin eyebrows were once a huge trend, especially in the early 2000s, but they've since gone out of style. While they might have been a popular look back then, today, They just make you look overly harsh and out of balance with the rest of your features. Thinner brows can give your face an unnatural drawn-in look, and they don't help to frame your eyes properly. Full natural-looking brows are far more flattering and can give your face a more balanced, youthful appearance. If you want to avoid looking dated, skip the overly thin brows and go for a more defined, fuller shape that enhances your facial features. Next up, sagging pants. Sagging pants were a huge trend, especially in the early 2000s, but they quickly became one of the worst fashion mistakes that should have stayed in the past. Wearing your pants too low, where they hang off your hips or even lower, just creates a sloppy and unflattering look. Not only does it make you look disheveled, but it can also make you seem like you're not taking your style seriously. The trend itself is now seen as outdated and overly casual, with many people opting for a more fitted and streamlined look. If you want to avoid looking like you just forgot your belt, go for pants that fit properly and sit comfortably on your waist for a more polished and stylish appearance. If you want to know how women react to handsome men, click to watch the video.